Hello, welcome back to The Benchmark. We've been speaking with the co-founder of Ethiopian Muktar Mohammed. Where we left off, we were just kind of talking about how the development of media and changes. But if we can briefly go back to Ethio2, be pretty specific, I think first of all, what you and Alamayu have done is really ambitious, especially coming from a country where technological development was not equal to what you guys are exposed to now. So what can you speak to about that background and what effect that has had and does have as far as development, and considering how both of you deal with software development and IT?
Yes, growing up in Ethiopia, of course, I never saw a computer there. It is in America where I touched a computer. So coming from such humble background makes you appreciate what you have, and once you want to give back to the community that deserves it more. And so having that kind of background actually is embedded in us, and it's the embedded force that makes us work hard every day and strive to make Ethio2 better, by that making it a better medium for the community as a whole.
So as I was saying, your partner Alamayu Gameda, both of you have backgrounds in programming. You're a software developer for NASA. You guys were both involved in developing Google Ethiopia, and both being on the development team for the ESAI's website. What have your experiences provided for you in such a competitive industry? Because I don't know what it's like back home, but I know here it's pretty tough to get a job.
Yes, you're right. That kind of background actually gives you the perspective. I'll talk about my path to where I am. When you get a small, what may seem a small opportunity, what may people that didn't go through or does not have the experiences that we may have by living in Ethiopia, when you get that kind of opportunities, you jump on them, because those are the steps where you are going to make your next move on. In that case, so it could be when we were in school, what kind of jobs that we had to do, because it's all about the big goal that we always have.
Right.
So I can speak to myself that, but as a whole, as a community, I think that's what I see in the Ethiopian community. But personally, that's the kind of attitude that I have, and that's the kind of experience that I had when I get, regardless of what kind of opportunities that are present, I use them to reach out to my utmost goal that I may have at that point. And so coming from such a background actually makes you appreciate what you have right now, and be appreciative of what you have.
If you could speak a little bit about the realities of development, software development, and even if you could talk about what your career is like with NASA, because I think a lot of people young people who may be interested in IT or web development may have one conception of what it's like, when in reality, it's always completely different. Sure. On the opposite side of the fence. So if you could speak a little bit about what your career, your profession is like, and what the challenges that you face are.
Yeah, I currently, like you said, we do contracting work for NASA headquarters, and we develop software that supports their needs. And but before I get here, like I said, I didn't touch a computer until I came to the United States, and then in high school, one day I just picked up a book and started reading it, and it was about Visual Basic. Then there was a program that talks about currency conversion, and went home and tried it. No, read it overnight, brought it back to school, and I didn't have a computer at home, so I tried it out of school the next day, and in that case, I made it convert birr to dollar, dollar to birr, and I was like, yeah, that's the thing. So I started there, and then I loved it and continued, and went to college and studied computer science. And now, after some other jobs, I am doing a software development, mostly web applications for NASA headquarters. And personally, you have to like what you do. You have to love what you want to do. Before we get here, in college, there were many people, they were doing CS because it was the cool thing to do back then. But you will not be enjoying it, or you won't pursue it once you graduate from it, or you may not even graduate from it because it's not your thing. Or after burning a few years, then you may change your major and do something else. So whatever you choose, you have to like it. If you are just doing it for you think you're gonna make a lot of money in it, it's not gonna work. You have to like it. And then after that, when you come and sit for 8 hours to program and looking at small codes, you have to be wanting to hunt and find that bug the way your program is not working. And so software development is solving problems. So, and you have to have that kind of mentality. You have to have that finding why something is not working, or how to make something the way it works and how to make it better. So you have to have that kind of desire and the need and that passion to be innovative and to improve on things. So that's the kind of personality and energy that it requires to be in the software development profession. But I'm not trying to scare anybody or anything. I mean, it is fun. When you like it, it's fun. You don't even know how that 8 hours flies by, that if you work at 8 hours. Or you may just be working 2 hours and chill another 6 hours if you're that good. So, but you have to love it.
Right.
Yeah. So, and people, before I started, when I told people I was going to study computer science, they were telling me, you will spend a week to find one comma. And I mean, I didn't understand what they were saying back then, but at that point, the little programming that I had done, I enjoyed it. So, and I continued, and I'm so far still enjoying it, and I hope it will stay that way.
Right. Well, what's been the most challenging aspect of following this passion of yours, finding commas?
What's challenging? Technical problems are not really problems. Those are just waiting to be solved. It's just a matter of going through it. So what is challenging is actually...
It wouldn't be finding that one comma in
that's not the challenge.
Thousands of letters or what code.
That is the fun part. Because it's not like you have a haystack and you're just looking to find that needle. It's actually, it's a process. There is a process of how you go about finding a solution of why something is not working, or if it is working and not giving you what you want, So there is a process. It's trial and see how it works, and if it doesn't work, maybe if I change this and that. So finding that a comma is not the challenge. Mostly maybe right now I work in with a government customers. So before that I worked in a more private sector. So the government customers tend to be they take their time in responding or refining or identifying their requirements. So that back and forth, not getting the response that you want.
Techie answer. I think there's a misconception, or not maybe misconception, a stereotype that most techies are antisocial. So I think it's funny that you say the most challenging aspect is the one where you have to communicate.
No, when I worked in a more private, when I worked in a more private sector, you get a response quickly because those people,
that's their money they're sitting on.
Yeah, and they will respond quickly. They will identify their requirements and they will stick to it. But when you're working with government customers, it's a little different.
And what about juggling EthioTube? What is EthioTube for you? Is it the passion that you have on the side, or is your current profession with NASA, is that your passion and the EthioTube is like your dessert or something?
EthioTube is I don't know what would happen if I didn't if EthioTube just disappears from my view tomorrow. It's just like I don't have I'm not married or I don't have a kid yet, so but it's like my baby. Yeah, so I like what the viewers are saying, commenting. I love reading what people are saying, and I love to see the videos that are being posted. I watch pretty much everything that is posted as much as possible.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so it means a lot to me, and I love sharing my ideas about what is being discussed there, and as a person, just as a user, not being EthioTube and saying as officially EthioTube saying that.
So as far as the future for someone who's watching back home, who's a developer or who's in the computer sciences, what do you think is going to happen for someone like that within maybe the next 5 to 10 years? Because watching this, the dynamic for you is entirely different being here in the States, serving someone back home. What do you think, how do you think the dynamics will change for someone back home who's doing what you're passionate about?
Yeah, what I like to say to those back home in this profession, I can imagine how tough it would be to be in Ethiopia and be in the profession because like I said, I was recently there. You probably don't have your own laptop to do the kind of figure outs that you need to do. You need a computer, and you may be using either your school computer, which is time limited, or you are paying at a cafe using their computer, and that is a lot. There's so much challenge for them to be in this profession than us. We had everything provided for, and if they are still in that profession after all that, they should stick to it and be innovative. Think the problem that is around you and solve that problem. And anything is possible, and anything you put your mind into, you can achieve. And so the fact that they are in a more less resourced location should not discourage them on what they want to do and would affect their if they love software development, they should stay in it.
Being so closely tied to technology, I think it'd be really interesting to hear what your viewpoint is on how technology plays into development. If it's piece and parcel with infrastructure and healthcare, or if you think it's simply like a buttress, that it's something that other things can be built upon, or if it's really just something that's kind of like whatever, it'll come when it comes. What's the importance of technology development?
Technology development is very critical, especially for a country like ours, Ethiopia. And when you have technologies that are technology can change the medical sector, or the development, or how the technology can be used in the agriculture, improving the kind of seed that they have, drought resistant seeds. All that is within the sphere of technology, and it is critical to the growth and development of a country or a society as a whole. And it is important that we as a nation produce people in those different sectors of the technology to improve the life of Ethiopians.
Mm-hmm. If you could speak more, I guess, about what your impact has been, having been a part of the development of Ethiopia, Google Ethiopia, and translating the language. The translation, and EthioTube itself. What do you think that the immediate impact of that has had on Ethiopians?
I like to think by other people like me that contributed to, for example, to the Gmail or Google, that people in Ethiopia are served better now that they have this popular system that is in their language. So, and the same thing with EthioTube. I like to think, and by having this platform, that we have saved people time, and presented them most relevant and in a timely manner, the content that is that they most likely are interested in. So let's say if you were to go to YouTube, you would have to type Ethiopian music, and so that kind of time is now saved, but just by coming to one location and finding what you want in there. And we hope by that we have served the community.
In that sense.
Yeah.
So I asked you what's been the most challenging aspect. What's been the most rewarding aspect of being a part of these developments?
Seeing and I noticed this when I was in Ethiopia, seeing that when you actually go to Google, you actually see the Amharic version of Google interface, and I was like, wow, I didn't know. But after that, I learned you can actually see that from here as well. But I didn't know that it was available that way, and I was like, I see people
That's
next
me.
to me. I was like, I've worked on that too. Yeah, so it was very rewarding. And the same thing, when I was there, I saw people actually logging into EthioTube to watch video. And so, like we said earlier, they may be bored on what is available freely, easily there, but they are taking their time and their hard-earned cash money to a cafe to watch videos on EthioTube. So I was really gratified, to say the least.
And what about financially? How is EthioTube doing? Because what's funny is the last time I went on the website, someone left a comment like, with all the ads that you have posted on the website, I know you guys are sitting as millionaires. Someone left something funny like that.
I need to find that.
And of course it made me think, well, yeah, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 ads.
I need to find that comment and maybe censor it. No,
Oh, delete it.
Do that. I wouldn't do that.
It was me, I admit it. It was me who left like that.
Okay. Ethiopian, of course, is a profit company, and we have improved our servers that way, because at any given time we have over 1,000 people watching videos, and which requires a lot of resources to host that kind of people. And in order to support that, we have to run ads from Google and other networks, and we try our best to minimize to keep that balance between having a pleasant experience watching what you want to watch, and in the meantime having the ads around you.
Even though YouTube doesn't care? It's okay. It's okay. I mean, how is it doing financially? Because I think comparatively, obviously, YouTube, you can't open a video on YouTube without an ad, and it's the same.
Yeah, it comes at the bottom, or
and it's the same financially if you can.
Yeah.
How is the company doing? Is it going to be going on forever? Is money not an issue now?
Funny. It's funny that you mentioned that. And the money that you make in any business, usually wanted to expand that business, and like I said earlier, we have some projects that we were working on that demand a lot of resource,
of course,
and we are actually investing on that. And as money-wise, EthioTube is very well established, and it's not a website that is going to go out of business the next year or next month or whatever. We are very stable, and we look forward to be in a more mediums than we are right now. And so financially we are very stable.
You know, I don't ask you that just to make you squirm. I also ask you that because you touched upon it earlier, but as far as money is concerned, you can't necessarily follow a passion strictly for the money.
True.
So what's it like financially for someone who's starting out as a programmer, someone who is beginning here in the market? What's the market like for someone who is beginning? Do they need to have a part-time job too?
You should always you should be humble with your demands. You should coming out of college, personally, my experience, I was more in need of the industry experience that will actually bring me more money down the road,
right?
Instead of sitting at home or doing something else. So the money should not be an issue when seeking a job. I mean, it should of course be part of the equation, but it shouldn't be the driving, the only factor that drives you into that direction. So, but if you have to do a part-time job or do some, if you are a techie guy, then you may do some freelancing and maintain somebody's website or so. But if that is what you had to do to be in that profession, down the road it will pay.
You were mentioning earlier, for those who are ambitious in the field, to really essentially look for a problem, a problem area, and to kind of immerse yourself in it, and then that is where you'll be able to find, I guess, your path. Being a professional software developer and having been successful, and having recently been home as well, what sector back home do you think is really on the cusp of emerging and really kind of having fantastic potential for growth?
One sector that I can that I have observed that was actually the multimedia field. By that, multimedia, I mean a lot of films are being produced.
Okay.
So if you're into designing and film industry and any technology that can support the film industry at this time has a good advantage in Ethiopia, because a lot of films are being produced, and if you can provide a solution to problems that they have, or provide a service that will enhance their products, then you are in a perfect place. Mm-hmm. So that is one area that in the short time that I was there, that I was able to notice, which was growing fast, and which I think the people in the technology field could also embark on a project or mm-hmm. a company, a small company, to serve that growing industry.
You know, I'm really curious to know, because I've interviewed people who are in business with their friends or with family. What's the dynamic like between you and Alex? What's it like to work with a friend, to be business partners and friends? Because I think that can be an aspect that's really challenging and sometimes can hinder, but in other ways, I'm sure.
Alex and myself are good friends, and before he came to the U.S., he used to live in the Europe, in Austria. So when we started the business, he was in Austria, so he was even wow. far distant out there, in a different planet. And so for us, communication has been like the internet is how we communicate, right. But now there's a daily multiple phone calls that we make.
What are your hopes for EthioTube? What will EthioTube look like in 10 years or 5 years? What are your hopes for its progression?
For EthioTube in the future, we expect it to be available in multiple platforms, mm-hmm. And reaching out to the community that is at this point not reachable. That will happen with we have a limitation to that, of course, is with infrastructure, and when the infrastructure in Ethiopia improves, will allow us to reach out to the greater to a great number of audiences in Ethiopia.
Mm-hmm. And as a pioneer already, and reflecting on your hopes for EthioTube, personally, what are your hopes for yourself? What's the benchmark that you've set for yourself?
I believe in hard working. If you work hard, you can achieve whatever goals that you set. And I am I like to be. EthioTube has told me of having your own, like I called it your own baby there, but that could be your business, and how I like to expand that into that EthioTube could be as one of my small goals, but I like to reach out for other higher businesses that actually give back to the community, and that is my ultimate benchmark.
Thank you so much, Muktar, for coming on and sharing your story. And thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to catch up on EthioTube videos at ethioTube.net. And thank you so much for watching to not only tonight's episode, but every episode that you've been watching. As the season finale for me, being reflective on this experience, I've not only grown as a journalist, but having amazing guests has made me appreciate not only my passions, but other people's passions. Don't forget to visit us at ebstv.tv, and don't forget to check us out at facebook.com/tothebenchmark. I'm Kallie Ejigu. Thank you so much for watching. Hi, I'm Kallie Ejigu, and this is The Benchmark.